I'm Colonel John Gordon, and this is Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Anytime, any day, any week, any season. Training in the 82nd Airborne Division is continuous, hard, and demanding. It has to be, to build strength and stamina. It is training that develops each trooper's confidence in himself and his ability to function with discipline and control in any situation. Teaches him the many military skills that make the airborne trooper a formidable fighting man. It makes him combat ready on the ground and in the air. This endless high-pressure training keeps the 82nd Airborne in top-notch condition for battle. As part of the United States Strike Command, it is prepared to move out swiftly by airdrops or air landing to trouble spots anywhere on Earth. The 82nd is proud to call itself always combat ready.
2, 3, 4. All the way, sir.
Airborne.
Up, up, up.
All the way. A slogan that expresses the fighting spirit of this great division. But perhaps the slogan that best describes the pride and patriotism of the 82nd is the one given it officially in 1917, because it was composed of fighting men from every state in the Union, all American. The 82nd started as an infantry division in World War I. Sergeant Alvin Youll was with the All-American Division. Also a major named Jonathan Wainwright, destined for greatness as a general in World War II. At war's end, the All-American Division was demobilized. It came alive again in 1942 when it was reactivated as an infantry division under General Omar Bradley. When General Matthew Ridgway took command later that year, the 82nd became the Army's first airborne division. From the start, airborne training was rugged. They ran and ran some more. They jumped and climbed and crawled. There were calisthenics, rifle range, shoot school, glider loading, practice jumps, crash landings. Training was continuous from Fort Benning, Georgia to the sands of North Africa. The men of the 82nd were learning what it meant to be really combat ready. And ready they were when the first mission was announced in July 1943. Blowing up clouds of desert dust, they took off from North Africa and headed out over the blue ocean. Ahead was their first combat jump. They were to drop into Sicily behind enemy lines, ahead of an Allied invasion that was coming in by sea. The men of the 82nd advanced 150 miles in 6 days. German and Italian defenders were routed, but not without hard fighting. The Sicilian campaign was the first combat proof that American airborne doctrine was valid. The fighting quality of its paratroopers was made dramatically clear. The next jump came soon afterward. The Allies had landed at Salerno on the Italian mainland, but the bridgehead was in trouble, so the 82nd went in. The Germans, some of Hitler's best troops, fought savagely with everything they had. It wasn't enough. They were beaten back. On October 1st, 1943, Naples was liberated. Men of the 82nd led the way in, but they had little time for the victory celebration, as elements of the division fought at the Anzio beachhead. They pursued the Germans into the Apennine Mountains. They had to fight mud and exhaustion as well as rocky heights. Spearheading the 5th Army's advance, they finally joined the British 8th Army at Mount Samucro. Then the 82nd was relieved and sent to England. This was their first real breathing spell since Sicily. No one really believed it would last for long, but it was nice while it lasted. Replacements began pouring in, and intensive training was resumed. The biggest jump of all was coming up, into France, to smash the walls of Hitler's Fortress Europe. Once again, they were going in ahead of the ground forces. The 82nd Airborne, the new 101st American Airborne, and the British 6th Airborne. The German army was taken by surprise, but not completely. The jump had scattered paratroopers all over Normandy. The fighting became a confused melee of small unit actions. The troopers struck out hard and captured Sainte-Mère-Église, a key point in the Nazi defenses and the first town to be liberated in France. It was a slow process. They had to bleed for every town, field, and hedgerow. The 82nd fought for 33 days without relief or reinforcements. The enemy wished they hadn't. Of the 13,000 men who jumped into Normandy, only 5,000 were still on their feet when the 82nd was sent back to England to rest and rebuild the outfit. Almost as bad an ordeal was the Battle of the Bulge, when Hitler's Panzer divisions cracked the Allied line in Belgium. The 82nd was called on to hold the northern shoulder of the Bulge. Not only were they outgunned and outnumbered, they were freezing. Like their fellow paratroopers of the 101st at Bastogne, the men of the 82nd threw back one desperate attack after another. Finally, the Nazi drive was played out. Airborne soldiers stayed on the ground now to race across Germany, scooping up a fantastic number of prisoners, including the entire 21st German Army, 145,000 men. It was an inglorious end to Hitler's dream of a 1,000-year Reich.